What is going to be faster, cheaper, and more convenient when I want to travel from Toronto's Union Station to Niagara Falls? Is it going to be a train or is it going to be a bus? And today, I'm gonna try to find out. First, I'm gonna take a train to Niagara Falls, and as soon as my hand leaves this Union Station clock, the timer is going to start. And it will only stop when I touch the railing that actually overlooks Niagara Falls itself. And on my way back, I'm gonna do the exact same thing. And now, Union Station clock will be the finish point. So I hope you're ready and all buckled up, because my train leaves in less than 15 minutes. And with that, I started my timer and headed to the train station. Since I was very close, all I had to do was just walk through this arch, and I found myself in this York Concourse Hall, which essentially doubles as a GO train station. If you get a little bit hungry, there's a couple of McDonald's restaurants nearby, or if you just wanted to use the washroom, they're scattered around the platform, they're nice, spacious, and clean. Or if you wanted to just sit down, there's these benches provided for you with USB ports where you can charge your devices, but I had time for none of that because my train was now leaving in less than 6 minutes. So I rushed up the stairs and found it on platform number 5. And after I came up, I noticed that in these cars, a lot of the seats were already taken, and it was also an express train, meaning it was going to skip a few stops. So I walked all the way to the back of the train, and I tried to find seats on my favorite level, level number 3, the highest one. And this is what I'm doing here. I'm going all the way up, and I'm still seeing quite a few people here. So instead, I continued all the way, and I found 4 empty seats on this level number 2. So in the meantime, I'm just going to try and settle here. By now, the train started moving, and we actually passed this Up Express train, which I reviewed on my channel. Feel free to scan this QR code or click on a pop-out banner. I also tried to activate my ticket, and I saw this red screen. I sort of started panicking because it was not a regular ticket. Instead, I saw this fare guide, and on that I saw a small section with a weekend deal special, and that's what I purchased, a $10 unlimited one-day pass. But I just had to wait for 5 minutes, and then finally my screen turned green. Since I was not quite happy with my seats, I decided to reverse myself, and instead went all the way back to the front of the train, just to find something a bit more comfortable. And actually, while walking through it, I found something interesting. Apparently, there's this pretty convenient area where you can store your bike, and also a pretty comprehensive map of the entire GO transit system. But after some time, I reached this completely empty area where there was nobody. So what did I do? You're right, I just put my backpack right in front of me, put the armrest down, and prepared for the rest of my journey. To be honest, I'm not that surprised to see this train that busy on a Sunday morning. Weather is awesome, and I think everybody's just going to Niagara Falls. But what I did is actually I walked all the way from the back of the train. It has 12 cars, and now I'm actually sitting right behind the operator. And this area actually has no other people around me. I can stretch my legs and relax pretty well. So this is my advice to you, is if you cannot find any seating, walk in between the cars, and that way probably you will find something. And is there anything special about these seats? Not really, unfortunately. You cannot recline them, but there's an armrest. However, on board the train, you do get free Wi-Fi. When I connected to it, it offered me a bunch of movies and TV shows to watch, but if I wanted to browse the web, I had to sign in with my email. But this time, I didn't get a chance to do that, because as more miles rolled by, I really wanted to use the washroom. So that's what I did. I put on my brave face, I walked all the way back, and I decided to use a public GO train washroom. These washrooms are really clean. You don't really also have to touch anything. Everything is like water and soap, everything is touchless, and actually a very nice and clean washroom on board the GO train. Exactly. Just look at that sink. Not only it's fully automated, but for a public space, it was very immaculate. And I think I should do a huge shout out to GO for doing that. By now we were flying at speeds of roughly 100 kilometers an hour, but unfortunately this was not always the case, because occasionally we had to stop due to some problems at some railroad crossings. But now you might also say, Andreas, but how about a car? You can still drive to Niagara Falls, right? Yes, you can. See? Of course you can. But the problem is that I just don't have a car. I was thinking of maybe taking Commune Auto as part of this video, but then realized it might not be worth it. But if you want to see my review of Commune Auto, then I'm going to link it somewhere there. So feel free to watch it. And I also saw something pretty interesting. This is the Welland Canal that ships use to bypass Niagara Falls, and it was definitely a cool sight. But by now, it was time to do something else. If you're watching this video, I suggest you to download this transit app, because it helped me to figure out how to get from my train station to Niagara Falls. It suggested to use WeGo, but it was too expensive for me. So instead, I opted for this 204 bus provided by Niagara Region Transit System. I clicked on buy ticket and it was just $3, so I think it was actually a pretty good deal. So I purchased it, and now the only thing that I had to do was activate it. And voila, a few minutes later, we finally arrived to Niagara Falls train station. Now that I arrived to Niagara Falls on this GO train, the only kind of downside with these is that they kind of drop you in the middle of nowhere. Now I just gotta catch that 204/104 bus. I gotta rush because it's in about 10 minutes that my bus is arriving, and then it should take me very close to Niagara Falls. I then saw one of those WeGo buses, and a quick question for you. Do you see a problem? I just need to get to Erie Avenue and then wait at the bus stop for Niagara Transit Bus. And actually, it was not too bad. I was able to find my stop within the next 30 seconds or so, and remember that WeGo bus? Look at it. Just look how many people were inside. It was completely packed. And actually, speaking of problems, what is going on in Niagara Falls? Look at this building that is completely falling apart. So many tourists arrive here each year, and first thing that they see are these empty streets, gravel roads, and it's so not presentable. But I guess enough of me rambling here. My 204 bus arrived within the next roughly 5 minutes. I had to activate my ticket, and it generated this QR code for me. When boarding, all I had to do was just scan it using this machine. I'm on my way in this 204 bus, and when I saw those WeGo buses, God, they were so full. Literally, people were packed like sardines, and I'm so glad I didn't take one of those. This 204 bus, it has 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm the 5th person on this, and it's just $3. Also a pretty good deal. About 15 minutes passed, and my stop was very quickly approaching. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. My stop was completely unannounced. I had to keep a close eye on the transit app to see where am I. And then suddenly I see on the app that my stop is the next one, and I'm like, stop requested, stop requested. And so now I'm again sort of in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of hotels and motels and pizza chains. But if you find yourself here, just go towards the Skylon Tower. It's like, I would say it's like a tiny CN tower. So just go towards it, and that's where you will find the falls. But remember, this was still a race, so I had to get to the falls as quickly as I could. I saw this, the American Falls, but this was not my destination. My destination was this. And to get there, I used zip lines, I used lifts, I used boats. I'm joking, I didn't, but I just walked and there was mist all over my face. And finally, after more than 3 hours, I was there. "3 hours, 13 minutes and 33 seconds passed from the moment when I removed my hand from that clock tower at Union Station to the moment when I actually touched this rock that is a part of the railing that overlooks Niagara Falls. I have about 5 hours here until my bus departs back to Toronto, but in the meantime I'm going to go grab a bite, and I'm also going to make a short that will show you some of the coolest attractions around Niagara Falls. I'm going to link it somewhere there. And while I was trying to figure out what to eat and force myself not to go into one of these casinos, I stumbled upon something interesting. This is the Lundy Slain battlefield, the site for the deadliest battle of the War of 1812, and it happened when American troops tried to invade Canada. and both British and Canadian soldiers tried to defend it, and they actually won. This is also the site where you will find Laura Secord Memorial. You might think it's just a simple chocolate bar, but Laura Secord was actually instrumental to help win this war for Canada. And thank you so much for attending my history class. But it's time to head back to Toronto, and my bus leaves at 5:30 p.m. Right now it's 5:10, but in an email that they sent out, they said to be at the bus stop about 15 minutes prior to bus's departure, and I'm gonna go and try to find that bus stop right now. But what's good about buses is that actually the bus stop itself is located not too far from where I'm at right now. I'm just standing beside the Table Rock Center, and this is a huge benefit for buses. They pick you up and drop you off right in downtown of Niagara Falls. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to go back to that railing, I'm going to start the stopwatch, and then I'm gonna try to figure out, is this bus going to be cheaper, faster, more convenient? Stay tuned. And here we go. Again. I started my timer and headed to find that bus stop. Now you might ask me, Andreas, where is it? Where is this bus stop? And my answer is very simple. Just look for hundreds and hundreds of geese. Literally, that's what happened in my situation here. I almost got attacked by one, so kind of be careful around them. Anyways, I walked for maybe 2 to 3 minutes, and I found my bus, and by that time, it was already boarding. And all I had to do was actually just open my Gmail and show this QR code to the driver. And at that time, I also noticed something weird. I found this extra passenger. Do you think they actually bought their ticket? I don't think so. Anyways, I boarded my bus. It was a regular bus. I'm going to talk about some perks later. But what I found the best about this whole experience was how punctual it was. In the itinerary, it said that the bus was going to leave at 5:30, and guess what? It left at exactly 5:30. So huge kudos to Flixbus for that. Anyways, my journey back started. I just settled in, and honestly, first impressions are really nice. The seat itself is very comfortable, so I think it's going to be one of those bus rides where I'm going to take a nap. But also what I did when I booked this trip is actually I bought a seat for myself, seat 1A, and I opted for a neighbor-free option. So I also got a seat 1B. So I just put my backpack there, and that way I have a little bit more space for myself. And an additional comfort feature here is that I have this small tray table in front of me. I can put my phone there, I can put my water bottle, I can charge my devices. So yeah, probably I'm going to catch a few Z's in here. And honestly, our driver was amazing. I actually did manage to catch a few Z's. But we were driving at the speed of roughly 100 kilometers an hour, similar to what I saw back on the train. But unfortunately, we started hitting some traffic. And as soon as we did, our speeds started to drop exactly in half. By that time, the sun also started to set, and surprise, surprise, I had no idea, but my bus was not direct. Apparently, we had to make a stop at Terminal 1 at Toronto Pearson International Airport. We let a few people out, and 31 minutes before our scheduled arrival to Union, our bus left Terminal 1 at Pearson Airport. We got back onto the highway, and I started seeing the silhouette of the city. And you know what that means? That means more traffic. We kind of got stuck behind because there was some construction happening ahead of us, and look what showed up a few seconds later. My old friend, the train that now I wish to be on because it was moving a little bit faster than the bus I was actually in. But after about a 20-minute delay, we picked up some speed and pretty quickly arrived downtown. My bus pulled into a Union Station bus stop, and I had to quickly run out of it because remember, this was still a race. And I'm back at Union. Flixbus was pretty much on time, but my only complaint is that when I was booking on Flixbus's website, it never said anything about stopping at Terminal 1 at Pearson Airport. They probably baked in that kind of detour, but it would have been great to know that it would make a stop there. Anyways, I'm running back to Union Station's clock tower to measure how much time it actually took me to get back. 2 hours, 44 minutes and 3 seconds, and I'm back where I just started this morning. So it seems like the bus was definitely much faster, but now let's look at everything and see if bus actually won. First, let's talk about price. For my train, I paid $10, but it was Sunday, so it was a weekend special. On a weekday, I would have paid $21.15. Now for my bus, I paid $19.99, but I paid an additional almost $14 to be able to choose my seat and ride with no neighbor. So I think in this case, the train won. Now let's talk about speed. It took me 3 hours, 13 minutes and 33 seconds to travel from Union to Niagara Falls. Now on my way back, it just took me 2 hours, 44 minutes and 3 seconds. So I think in this case, the bus won. And finally, let's talk about convenience. Was there anything special on board the GO train? Not really. I think the highlight was definitely this very clean and nice washroom, as well as the Wi-Fi on board. Now in terms of the bus, I definitely found these seats much more comfortable. I could actually also recline them. I think another highlight of my bus was this tray table where I could put my phone, my water bottle. I could also charge my devices, and overall it was a very nice place to be in. So I think in terms of convenience, the bus actually also won. So I think the conclusion of this video is that next time, if you want to travel to Niagara Falls, then just take the bus, and I don't think you're going to regret it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.